So today we're going to talk about what is, without a doubt, the single most important biochemical process on the entire planet. Seriously, it's the engine that powers just about all life, it creates the food we eat, and it even makes the very air we breathe. We are talking about photosynthesis.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Because pretty much everything, and I mean everything, from the energy firing in your brain right now to the oxygen filling your lungs, it can all be traced back to the quiet, constant work happening inside a simple green leaf, just like this one. We're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it's done.
To really get a handle on this, let's start with the big picture. You can basically divide all life on Earth into two major teams, and it all comes down to one simple question. How do you get your food?
Okay, so on Team 1, you've got the autotrophs. Think of them as the self-feeders. These are the amazing producers, like plants, that literally make their own food from scratch using simple stuff from the environment. Then you've got Team 2, the heterotrophs, the other feeders. And yep, that's us. We can't make our own food, so we have to get our energy by eating other living things.
And this really shows you just how critical those autotrophs are. They are the producers, sitting at the very base of the entire food web. It doesn't matter if you're eating a salad or a cheeseburger. The energy in that food ultimately started with a plant capturing a little bit of sunlight.
All right, so now let's go from that huge ecosystem-level view and zoom way, way in. We're going to get down to the microscopic level to see where the magic really happens. Let's go inside the factory.
You know, a leaf isn't just a flat green thing. It's an incredibly sophisticated, multi-layered biological factory. You've got an outer skin, specialized cells packed to the gills with machinery, and even these tiny little pores called stomata that act like doors, letting gases move in and out. It's amazing.
And right at the heart of this whole operation is the star of our show, chlorophyll. This green pigment molecule is basically a microscopic solar panel. Its one and only job is to absorb the energy from sunlight, and that's the fuel that kicks this entire process into gear.
So here's a cool question. Why are plants green? Well, this graph explains it perfectly. Check it out. Chlorophyll is a rock star at absorbing light from the blue and red parts of the spectrum. But it's not so good at absorbing green light. So what does it do? It reflects it right back out. And that reflected green light is what hits our eyes. That's why we see green.
Now, I know that chemistry can sound super complicated, but the whole thing can actually be broken down into a pretty simple two-step recipe. Yeah, seriously, it's kind of like cooking, but on a crazy tiny molecular scale.
So, step 1 is what we call the light-dependent phase. This is all about capturing the sun's energy. And step 2 is the light-independent phase, or the Calvin cycle. And this is where the plant uses all that captured energy to actually build its food.
And here it is. This is the master recipe for pretty much all life on Earth. You take 6 molecules of carbon dioxide from the air, plus 6 molecules of water from the soil, you add some energy from light, and what do you get? 1 molecule of glucose, that's sugar, and 6 molecules of life-giving oxygen.
Okay, so let's look at that first step, the light-dependent phase. That captured sunlight is used to do something absolutely mind-blowing. It literally rips water molecules apart. This single act is what releases all the oxygen into our atmosphere. At the exact same time, the sun's energy gets packed into these little battery molecules called ATP and NADPH, which are going to power the next stage.
So, to wrap up step 1, super simple. Water and sunlight go in, the water gets split, and what comes out is oxygen and those fully charged chemical batteries, ATP and NADPH, all ready to go for step 2.
And now for the second step, the Calvin cycle. This part is cool because it doesn't need sunlight directly. Instead, it's time to cash in the energy that was just stored in those ATP and NADPH batteries. It's time to build something real.
So in this phase, the plant grabs carbon dioxide from the air and, using the power from those batteries, it runs it through this brilliant cycle of chemical reactions. The grand finale? Glucose, a simple sugar that is the food, the fuel, and the fundamental building block for the entire plant.
All right, let's zoom back out again. After all that incredible, tiny chemistry, what did the plant actually accomplish? Well, the two things it makes have literally changed the world and made all of our lives possible.
So on the one hand, you get glucose. This is the energy-packed fuel that not only powers the plant's growth, but also feeds the entire food web. And on the other hand, you get oxygen. What was basically just a waste product for the plant ended up becoming the very gas that allows complex life, like us, to even exist. And the sheer scale of this whole operation is, well, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. Every single year,
Photosynthesis pulls about 115 billion kilograms of carbon out of the atmosphere and turns it into living stuff. That's just an insane amount.
And get this isn't some newfangled invention. This world-building process has been chugging along, pumping out oxygen and laying the foundation for life for about 3 billion years. It has literally shaped our planet.
So after 3 billion years, you'd think we'd have it all figured out, right? Well, scientists are still unlocking its secrets, and what they're finding might just give us the blueprint we need to power our own future.
In what was a massive breakthrough, after a full half-century of research, scientists finally mapped out every single tiny step of how water gets split to make oxygen. They found the final missing piece of a puzzle that had been baffling researchers for decades.
And this isn't just about winning a prize in a science fair. Having this complete, detailed understanding of how nature splits water gives us a direct blueprint. It's a source of inspiration for creating brand new technologies based on the very same principles. And that leaves us with one last really big thought. If we can truly master this process, if we can mimic it and create what's called artificial photosynthesis, well, we could potentially turn sunlight and carbon dioxide into clean fuel. The solution to our massive energy crisis? It might have been hiding right here, in a little green leaf, the whole time.